All right, everybody. Welcome back. The Contender Series. Tonight we take on the night race in Richmond, Virginia. It's actually my home track. Grew up racing here. I raced motorcycles when I was younger. The old motorcycle track used to be in the infield before they rebuilt it to the configuration that it's at now. Run some late models here. It's like returning home for me. Guys are out qualifying now. Now we got Dalton Cowden leading the way in the qualifying. Dockstout's in the second. Last week we seen a kind of an eventful race. A whole lot more cautions than I thought we were going to have, but in the end it was Dan Shamoon bringing home the win. Let's start season 10 for V-Speed. So after last week's race, points are going to be as follows: Dan Shamoon, Dalton Cowden, Anthony Promoda, Marty Phillips, Tyler Bentley, Don Thompson, Jason Spear, Gary Zazorski, and Perry Snelson's top 10. Now we have Dan's going to take the pole, our winner from last week. Get to the drivers' meeting here in a moment. Quick warm up, then we'll get racing on. Like that's pretty much close out qualifying. Got Dan Shamoon going to start on the pole, last week's winner. See what he can do under the lights here. The little track of excitement. A lot of very good racing's happened at the track. Anthony Promoda starting on the outside. Ron Thompson in third, Dalton Cowden in fourth, Bernard Persons in fifth, Marty Phillips in sixth, seventh, Josh Harbin in eighth, Doc Stout in ninth, and Jimmy Babb bringing up 10th place there. Having a driver's meeting now, going over the rules. That's done. They'll run out for a few laps of warm up. Be able to take the green flag. As always, the Contender Series is sponsored by Nitro. For a decent place to hang out, good group of people to hang out with. Over to the Discord. Setups every week. They have coaching sessions available. Around for a while now. Check them out at nitroracing.com. Also, associate sponsor is FRT Motorsports. Jimmy Babb and a group of guys that he races, friends racing together. Up with a prize pack Contender Series. As always, Walton Racing. Taking to broadcasting. Have a little bit of fun doing it after Doc talked me into trying this last year. Kind of doing this versus racing. We'll see how this goes. This year goes a little bit. Experience. We'll guest on later in the season. Show. Of course, Richmond's a 3/4 of a mile track. About 13.5 feet wide. So, pretty decent sized little track. But D-shaped if you've never been there. Bankings are about 14 degrees. So, there's a little bit of a bank down the front straightaway. About an 8-degree bank down the front straightaway. Safer walls weren't added here until 2003, so raced at this track for a lot of years with none of that safer barrier. I hadn't been back home to Virginia in several years, and about 3 years ago, went up for the night race. It has definitely changed since the last time I run a late model. Fan zone on the infield, really cool experience. Definitely one of those tracks it's best that you put on your list to go check out. So Richmond, Martinsville, and Bristol probably my tracks. One up to Bristol this year. Out there just doing their warm up here, so we're going to be starting here in about a minute. Get them all lined up. Shamoon bring you the green flag. Like Paris Nelson, top the speed chart here in the open of the warm-up laps. See if he can carry that speed into the race. Right, a little under a minute. Get this party started. All right, it is warm up. Yeah, let's take it to the grid. All right. All right, for Richmond, we're going to have Dan Shamoon starting on the pole, Anthony Promoter on the outside, Ron Thompson in third, Kelly Snelson in fourth. I'm sorry, Dalton Cowden in fourth, Bernard Persons in fifth, Marty Phillips in sixth, Rachel Hunt in seventh, Josh Harbin in eighth, Bob Stout ninth. Jimmy Babb brings up the top 10. B11, we're going to have Jason Spear. B12, Baby Shark, Mr. Russ, the Boss Man Bosevert. Jim Johnson's bringing up 13th. Tyler Bentley 14th. Ryan Lang 15th. Barry Snelson 16th. Gary Jazorski in 17th. Cody Morgan in 18th. Patrick Rush bringing up shotgun field. It's got that cool looking truck out front there. I like that truck. Aaron did a great job making that truck. For the green flag. One more lap. Hopefully these guys will play nice for the first few laps and good racing it. Getting his tires warmed up. Truck should be dipping off here.
Green flag.
All right, green flag is out. Dan Shamoon takes him off into turn one. Motor probably had that preferred line on the outside there coming out of two. Real good run through one. Anthony Promoter looks like it's going to lead that first lap. Marty Phillips coming up in the fourth there. Dan may be a little bit loose. Losing the nose a little bit. Josh Harbin making his way on up through the pack here. Him and Jimmy Babb. Tyler Bentley up to 11th. Doc here, riding around, biding his time. Oh, where Jake is tonight. Jake working. Other than Jason Spear, pretty much everybody's kind of nose to tail here. Like the Doc's going to take a run on the outside of Perry. Outside working pretty good in 1 and 2 this week. We're at lap 10 so far. Anthony Promoters led them all. Like Anthony, Dan, and Dalton done just kind of separated themselves from the pack a little. Kind of the class of the field. Oh, Anthony driving the Chevrolet this week. Last week he was driving a Ford. Good for him. Must have heard me complaining last week about too many Fords and Toyotas in the field. Bow tie representation. Right now, that bow tie is showing them the way. Look, lap 15, Anthony Promoto, Dan Shamoon, and Dalton Cowan leading the way. Rachel Hunt's up to 4th. Doing good. Up 3 spots. Josh Harbin's done moved up 3 spots. 5th. Tyler Bentley's the fastest mover so far. Picked up 6 spots. Up to 8th now. Little battle going on here for 7th, 8th, and 9th. making that low line work in 1 and 2 there pretty good. Gonna clear his way up in the 6th. Artie's truck reminds me almost of an old Sunoco throwback truck. Meanwhile, Rachel and Josh are kind of catching up to them. 3rd place there. Smooth running. Good pack, man. Gaggle back there. Fab on Jim Johnson's tail there. Almost gave him a little love going into the corner. Johnson trying to pass Barry for 11th place there. Fab trying to follow him. Ryan Lang in tow. Bus is trying to make a run for 8th place there on Marty Phillips. Take that pass. Try to bring Jim Johnson along with him. $100 to go. Joe Anthony promoter out front. Then put him a little distance between him and Dan Shamoon now. And it's got a little distance on Dalton. They have a pretty good little 4-second lead back to Josh Harbin. Tyler Bentley's making his way up. Looks like he's going to be making a play for 5th place here shortly. Of course, Tyler was a champion last year. Finally able to get him his trophy. Doc will post that up for everybody to see what they're in store for again this season. Although I'm going to change the trophy up. A little different than it was this year. Still, we have Anthony Promoter, class of the field right now. About a second and a half lead over second place Dan Schmoon. Dan's got another second lead over Dalton Cowden. So if anybody's watching, have any ideas for content or things that you'd like to see or things that you'd like to hear, always welcome. Provide us that feedback. That happen. And Jake, a lot of racing knowledge. Jake still races now. So we don't know, we can find out for you. A little bit of lap traffic now. Been going around the 04 of Patrick Rush. About a straightaway back. Next 17th and 18th. Major lap down here. The race for 13th, 14th, and 15th. Perry Snelson, Doc Stout, and Gary Jaworski. Ryan Lang's trying to put the move on Jimmy Babb up there in front of him. Proud of these guys. Open series races. Well, these guys have a lot of respect for each other. Like Doc's gonna make that pass. Comes Perry back on the outside there. Doc wasn't quite able to get back into that throttle. Doc's a little push loose there. Anthony just checking out. Anthony now has almost a 3-second lead over second place. Is on a rail tonight. Definitely done found something that nobody else has found. Probably in the next 2 or 3 laps, start getting into some lap traffic. Okay, that'll give Dan and Dalton a little bit of time to catch up to him. They're still a little racy in front of them in that lap traffic. Last group of cars. I'm betting, I haven't run this week. I am betting you could probably run this race on Dobbs. So sure Anthony's gonna run this out till at least until they start pitting. Last week, all kind of different strategies. Multiple cautions kind of screwed up some of that. Dan definitely had some speed last week. Still have 13th, 14th, and 15th that are racing it out here, man. 16th. Like Doxta got away from him a little bit, but Gary Jaworski, he's done got around Perry. Looks like Jason Spears going to be making a move for Perry's spot here in just a short. Got Cody Morgan in tow. Our leader is about to start getting into the back of the pack. Let's see how he manages the cars. Take a ride with Anthony here. Looks like Bernard's going to get out of his way and just let him go on by. Like Cody Morgan's going to be the next target. These guys are all racing for position in front of them, so let's see how this goes and see how Anthony makes his way through this little group. And it looks like they're going to get out of his way, even though they're racing for position. That's good sportsmanship. As you can see, the whole track of Richmond here. While we're kind of still in the middle of a run, let's do a little crank it up. All right. Got Jimmy Babb and Marty Phillips and Ryan Lang still going out of here. Jimmy got a little loose. Almost lost it, but he saved it. Ryan Lang's going to take that position from Marty Phillips, move up into the 11th position. And still, we have Anthony Promoda is on a tear. I don't know what he's got in that truck, but good Lord. 5-second lead over second place. Full straightaway almost. Keeps this up, he's gonna lap the whole field. Baz gonna bring it into the attention of his pit crew. Guess he's done got a little too loose for him. $65 to go. Dan and Dalton making their way through some of the lap traffic. Dan's starting to be a little loose there as well too. I would probably be safe to say they're probably going to stop at halfway. That'll probably force the issue once Dan and Dalton pit. That'll force Anthony to come in. Anthony's so far out at this point, he's probably just waiting on them to pit. Come in the next lap. We are halfway. Same three, setting the pace. Anthony Promoda with a huge, almost 6-second lead over second place. Dan Shamoon, Dalton Cowden, second and third. We have last year's champ, Tyler Bentley, in fourth. Rachel Hunt still hanging out in fifth. And Josh Harbin in sixth. Ron Thompson in seventh. Tim Johnson in eighth. Russ Bosford in ninth. And Ryan Langen is going to bring it in your top 10. That Dan Shamoon that came in for a pit stop. That's going to force Anthony's hand at this point. Be my guess. We'll start seeing them green flag pit stops now. Josh Harbin coming in. I think Anthony's trying to get the 10th place and lap 10th place before he comes in. And he does it. Anthony makes the pass to lap the 10th place driver. Well, actually not 8th place now that we've cycled through some pit stops. Ryan Lang chooses to peel on off and come on in. Get some freshies on there. Got 10 cars on the track that haven't pitted yet. So, well, 8 cars that haven't pitted yet. The promoter's still out there. And he has come into the pits. Only gonna leave about 4 trucks out there that have not pit yet. Doc and Bernard Parsons are the last holdouts. Bernard's stopping now. That Marty Phillips, I'm sorry, is the last person. Marty and Doc. Those two pit, bring us where we need, back around to where we need to be, and put Anthony back in the lead. Actually, I'm gonna put the lead to Dan Shamoon. Now, if Anthony had issues in the pits, I don't think so. But Dan had about a 2-second faster pit stop than it's made a huge difference in him coming in. He did the laps that Anthony stayed out. Guessing he's banking that he's going to be able to catch him. Doc and Marty holding out to see if that caution comes out. Last week's winner, Dan Shamoon, making his way on through the traffic here. Doc and Marty that he's getting around now. After he passes him, it's going to put Dan in. Man, that's a good look at demonstrate. Good paint job, or you need some kind of media work done. Check out Gross Designs. Aaron does a good job. Helps all kind of people in real life. Mentioned tonight he was helping Matty D this week. Out Gross Designs. Be able to. All right, so after pit stops, well, I say that Doc and Marty is still out there. I guess they're still hoping for that caution. After pit stops, which Dan Shamoon came out on the top of that one. And the promoter's kind of stuck back there almost 5 seconds back in some traffic. See how stout that truck actually is. Dirty air. See how well he can make it work for him. Boss man Russ getting around Doc. All right, so it looks like it's kind of played itself out now. Dan's in first, Dalton's in second, and Anthony's in third. So kind of flip-flop a little bit through those pit stops. Tyler Bentley still in fourth, slowly making his way through there. Anthony's done moved into second place now. Now let's see if he can catch that A truck. Coming up on 40 to go. Have a whole lot of time. Doc's finally going to peel off and pit. Guess he waited long enough. Anthony getting ready to pass Jimmy Babb. Babb's first truck lap down. Or we've had a clean race, everybody. Anthony's cut about a second off. Down to about 3.5 seconds behind Dan now. I think Anthony's definitely reeling them in, that's for sure. Picked up about 1/4 of a second, 2 laps. Alright, so Dan Shamoon in first, Anthony Pagoda in second, Dalton Cowden in third, Tyler Bentley in fourth, Josh Harbin in fifth, Ron Thompson in sixth, Johnson in seventh, Hunt in eighth. More than likely Jimmy Babb is going to move up to ninth position. Marty Phillips finally decided to pit. That should put Jason Spear in 10th. Russ Bosevert making his way on up through there. Russ is 2 laps down though. What happened with him? 04 here. Patrick Rush. 16. Relapsed that. He's done clicked off another 2 seconds. He's only about a second behind Leader Day and Shamoon now. Getting to him one thing, past him is going to be another. Coming in for lap 100 now. 26 to go. Dalton riding all by himself. Tyler Bentley that's coming up pretty quick behind him though. Tyler will have anything for him before the end of the race. Got Josh Harbin kind of running on his own in 5th. Ron Thompson and Jim Johnson running together for 6th and 7th. Rachel's kind of running by herself. Cody Morgan and Bernard Person. Anthony Promoter has caught the leader. Now let's see how long it takes to get around it. Make that truck wide. $20 to go. Anthony can make it happen. Ooh. Dan gets a little loose. Make this outside work in 1 and 2 like he did on the start. Once again, Anthony Promoter is taking over the lead. Man, I don't know what he's got in that truck. That thing is flying. With 4th place now. Tyler Bentley, our last year's champion, losing a little something. Marty Phillips got around him, but got a little bit fresher tires. Marty did great last week too. And stepped it up and decided to make its presence known this season. Way around Dalton Cowden. Dalton's still in third though. Now there's nobody between Dalton and Tyler. Let's see if Tyler can catch up a little bit. Since taking the lead, Anthony's done put about a 2-second lead over second place Dan Shamoon. Looks like Ron.
All right, man. Caution is out.
Like Ron Thompson is going to bring out the first caution. That's going to make it interesting. Thought we were going to go caution free. I am assuming that everybody, or at least the first 8 people, are going to come on pit road here. Coming to get some freshies and see if they can settle it out. Dan starting on the poles, got that first pit box there. Let's see if that helps him out anything. Doesn't quite help him. Almost. First 4 make it out. It's going to be an interesting race. We have some people that hadn't been out that long. They take the wave around. Put a few more cars back on the lap. Doc and Marty. The other people may yep, looks like we're gonna have 5 takers for the wave around here. Jimmy Babb, Ryan Lang, Doc. Gary Jaworski. And Russ. That wave round. Get one of their laps back in it. Babb back on the lap. Doc back on the lead lap. Back to 11 trucks on. Well, it's been an all Anthony promoter race. Other than the few laps that he lost the lead during transition and pit stops, he has led every lap. Him, Dan, and Dalton have been the top three all night long. Last of the field. They're going to be bunched up a little bit with some pretty tough competitors there. Last year's champion, Tyler Bentley. We have Josh Harbin and Jim Johnson. None of those boys are slouches, so see how this plays out and see what they. He bringing them to the green. Pace truck is off. Finish these last 5 laps.
Green flag, green flag.
It looks like Anthony gets a good jump. To run that outside groove in 1 and 2 like he did before. Yeah. Four to go. And Dalton Cowton looks like he's going to challenge Dan up. Dan gets a little loose up out the corner, but he looks like he saves it. Dalton Cowton moves into second, with Tyler Bentley in third. Josh Harbin and Jim Johnson are fighting it out. 3 to go. Josh must have gotten a little loose. Jim Johnson get around him. So did Rachel. But it's all Anthony Promoter. 2 to go. There's the man that has definitely put a schooling on these boys tonight. Taking the white flag is Anthony Promoter. Tyler Bentley's challenging Dalton Cowton for that second place. He's going to send it in turn 4. Is he going to make it stick? And he does it. Tyler Bentley brings it home in second place. Anthony Promoter, your winner. Tyler Bentley in second, and Dalton Cowton in third. What a great race tonight at Richmond Raceway. Right. Great job. Catch. Burnout from Anthony here. And we'll see about getting them boys into the booth.
Yeah.
This is all right. So great race tonight, guys. That was a pretty killer race between Tyler and Dalton there at the end. Dalton, I thought you were going to be able to hold him off, but he got that run on that outside in 4.
Yeah, I knew I was in trouble coming out of 2 when I drove it a little deep and knocked the fence down pretty much in the center visibly, and he had the run on the top, and I was like, oh, I just gotta hopefully get off the bottom in 4, and he ripped the top again.
You didn't want to Denny Hamlin him?
Nah, I got more talent than that.
Tyler, good run, man. You run up front all day, pretty much all race, running the top 4, top 5 most of the night, and Trying to put a good start on your backing up your championship from last season.
Oh yeah. Tonight the truck was pretty good. I was battling kind of a snap loose condition, out of 2 and 4 most of the night, but yeah, I will gladly take a second place. An awesome run there with Dalton at the end. That was really fun. But overall, solid night, decent points night, and we'll take it and move on to the next.
Right? It's always a good night when it's a good points night. And then
Absolutely.
you got, I think Anthony has gotten with Jordan, and they've done, Jordan gave him his cheating stuff from last season.
Something's going on.
Man, there was an 8.5 second lead at one time.
I know. Trust me. I was watching the leaderboard.
What in the world did you do, Anthony? Would you just like use a nitrous or?
No. I hit the setup. I hit the setup perfectly with what I wanted it to do, and it did it.
It's a great run tonight, man. What
tried
happened
to sync up the show by just driving away from everybody, but I had to. It was awesome.
What happened? How did you get so far behind in the pits? Was it just the extra laps that you ran that Dan didn't?
Extra laps, and I missed pit road the first time I tried to come down pit road. So when I come off and I'm half a sneaking straight, like entire front straightaway behind him, I'm like, oh God, I hope I've got enough truck and tire to catch him.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I don't know if he's gonna get him.
Yeah, but when I started looking at the lap times, I was like, man, he's going to catch him with no problem, but I don't know if he's going to have enough to get around him when he gets there. And then Dan got loose.
The crazy part is I was not actually pushing the truck that hard to catch him. I was just running my lane, my run, and Dan was doing everything he could to block me there. He was doing his darndest, but when he got loose off of 4, I was going to his outside. I didn't even want to attempt to try to get to his inside because I knew I could get the run off the top.
Well, you had a killer run through 1 and 2 on the top. That was amazing how that thing would run through 1 and 2.
Yeah, it was awesome through 1 and 2. On the initial start, I knew I did not want to get stuck behind Dan at the initial start and then have to fight to try to get past him. So
how was the dirty air?
When we went off into 1, I knew what it was going to do. So I just took with it and went with it. So
the dirty air bad, or is it just?
It was effective. It would affect you a bit. But I know how Dan can race. Dan can race very, very hard and make you burn your stuff up. And I didn't want that option.
Right. Well, amazing race tonight, guys. I thought we were going to go caution free, but at least it kind of bunched it up and made for a good, exciting finish.
I didn't want to see that caution. I was so mad at Ron when I come off of turn 4. There he is, sideways and backwards on the backstretch. Gosh darn it, Ron! I had this thing like I was gonna just drive away from Dan. I was gonna have 3.5 seconds by the time we finished this.
But you were almost there. It was like 2.5 when he came out. So I mean, you once you passed him in 2 laps, you put almost 2 seconds on him. So
yeah, she was moving. That's for sure.
Well, guys, again. Great night of racing. We appreciate it. Any shout outs anybody want to give out?
Thank Doc. Go ahead, Jim. Or Dan. Or Dalton. Jeez.
One of the 3. Just Russ, Nitro, but puts the lead together, the admins for dealing with us crazies out there on the track. Yeah, good race, good win, Anthony. Good run, Tyler. It's fun.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd like to thank Russ, Doc for putting on the league, you guys for televising it, and the officials for officiating the race.
Deal. Got anybody you want to give a shout out to there, Tyler?
Just more so echo what both Dalton and Anthony said. Thank Doc and Nitro and the teammates over at DFCTR.
Good deal. All right, guys, again, I appreciate it. And that's it from Richmond Raceway in beautiful Richmond, Virginia. And we shall see you guys next week.